want to take a few seconds at the beginning of this video to let you know that gun channels are rowing upstream against the Google algorithm. And then you throw God into the equation, it's really a tough situation to be in. So please consider supporting this channel through Patreon. That link is below. And I want to take a moment and thank those of you who have and are supporting this channel. We could not have done what we have done over the last several years without you. Thank you. Well, hey, we're here at Gunners Firearms with Maggie. Maggie, it's always so good to see you.
Hey, Mark. Hey, everybody. How's it going?
Hey, we had mentioned in past videos, we've talked about new gun buyers a lot.
Yes.
Over the last 2 years, probably. I couldn't even tell you how many times we talked about it. But the biggest category, one of the biggest categories of new gun owners is women, specifically women who live alone.
Yep.
And what would you, if a woman came, woman, I live alone, I don't know anything about guns, what direction are you going to walk that person down? Because I know you don't typically say, well, here's the best gun for you, because you
have to make sure that you're playing to your customer's strengths. Like, what are they comfortable with? What calibers have they shot before? Where are they comfortable starting? How many safeties on a firearm they are comfortable with. A lot of the recommendations for first-time firearm owners are firearms that do not have external safeties. And someone that is just learning and would probably appreciate maybe an external safety on the gun. So that kind of puts a few of the main brands right out of there, but it does leave multitude of options for people that are still there. So we just had a lady come in with her friend, and these two girls were looking at firearms that she could use by herself, have to load it by herself, have to be able to unload it by herself, have to be able to chamber that first round in there. So the first thing we look at, we say, what do you want? And, they'll go through and they'll point to something first that catches their eye. Mm-hmm. That's where you always want to start.
As we all do, for the record.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it usually, pardon my reach, I go over here. So it usually is something like along the lines of this pretty stinking nifty Smith & Wesson Equalizer that came out. I mean, it looks like your run-of-the-mill semi-auto with a double stack magazine, and it's got that backstrap safety. It has ambidextrous thumb safeties on the back of it. It has high capacity, but they have to be able to rack the gun by themselves, and then they have to be able to operate everything. This lady had just had shoulder surgery, and so she is starting the recovery process, and she had about 6 more weeks to go, I believe, and she was still not at full strength, and she could not, even on previously loved firearms and even on a Smith & Wesson Easy, which is supposed to be made for people to be easier to rack, and the Equalizer, which has the same features. She still was not able to do that. So being able to go to a store where you can get your hands on something and try it out to see if you can actually work it. So that put this category of guns straight out.
Well, okay, and actually, we could talk about that later because I have some thoughts on that too. But keep going.
So the next one up was revolvers, because we're like, okay, so we have to make sure that she can get the slide rack, that she can chamber around in there. So the revolvers were a little bit easier because you just push the button. I don't do this backwards. It's way easier when you don't do it backwards. But you push the little button forward on the Smith & Wessons and then pop your cylinder out just like that, and then load it and unload it with the little cylinder pin right there.
It's pretty easy. It's a good direction to go for a new gun owner. Any new gun owner.
Phenomenal. But once again, the thing that most people don't like about revolvers, there are no external safeties. You can get around this on some of them. Modern Smith & Wessons do have that nifty little key lock that's right there, so you can lock it down, but you really don't want to be in the position where you're like,
let me get my tiny little key out.
Time out! Come back in 5 minutes. Let me find the key. Let's get this thing
now,
unlocked.
Let me ask you this. So if women that are looking at Revolver, let's say they go, okay, I like the Revolver. Let's talk about this. Now, are they more comfortable once they realize it's a double action first pull without an external safety? Because typically,
first-time gun owners.
I'm an external safety guy when it comes to things like a 1911, strike fire things, but a revolver,
So, first-time gun owners, we'll be absolutely honest here. First-time gun owners have no idea what the difference between striker fired, single action, double action is, and they're like, "Hang on, what language are you speaking? Like, can you put this in something that I can explore? I understand." So then you go through and say, well, if you really need to, you can pull the hammer back like that, and then you are just doing the singular action of pulling the trigger right there. Double action would be if the hammer stays up, and then when you pull it all the way through, your hammer is going back as you are pulling until it reaches the point where it breaks, it clicks, and it...
Now, once they understand, would they feel more... Because it's hard. It would be all hard to find a revolver with an external safety on it. Other than the little key lock, which I would never recommend. It feels like that's a bad idea for a new gun owner to try to figure that piece out in an emergency situation. That
would be kind of miserable for any gun owner in an emergency situation. Not just first timers. This is across the board. Everybody. You do not want to be in that position. It really depends on the trigger pull on there. It is so easy to pull the trigger when it is single action. And as long as you can pull that hammer back, cock it, and then you can pull the trigger. But there are people out there, like people that have just done surgery or gone through surgery and do not have the strength that they have, or for whatever reason, they would not be able to pull the trigger on this. So sometimes revolvers aren't necessarily the answer either.
Sure. Well, my second oldest daughter, I had her try a revolver, and she couldn't pull the double action trigger. It was a little heavy, but I was surprised. I thought, she's going to love this gun. She couldn't even pull the trigger.
Yeah, it does get easier with practice and time. Unfortunately, most people don't want to sit there and practice firing or dry firing their firearm, which in some cases, like rimfire cartridges, your 22s, 22 Magnums, the 17s, anything that has not a primer right there in the center, a center fire cartridge, those you really don't want to practice dry firing unless you have some sort of dummy rounds inside there.
Well, now let me ask this. What would be your best advice for a woman living alone looking for her first gun?
Try everything. Try everything. Shop everywhere. Shop the little stores. Shop the big stores. Get your hands on everything. I can't tell you how many places girls will go to look at shoes. They don't go to just one place and buy that first pair that they see right off the rack. Oh no, it's like, let's go to this store, let's go to this store, let's go to another store, let's try on 50 different pairs before I find the pair of shoes I want. Gun shopping should be the exact same thing.
My wife gives it that correlation too. She said when I see you on the internet scrolling through guns, it's kind of like if I was just scrolling through black shoes.
Yeah.
They all just look the same.
It does. It really does. They all look the same.
I'm like, they're very different. What are you talking about?
So your difference is in your brand. Your difference is in your type. Is it a revolver? Is it something that is semi-automatic like that, where it just fires as fast as your finger pulls the trigger? Technically, both of these are semi-automatic. This one is considered a pistol. This one is considered a revolver. But the features and the fit in your hand are what you are looking for.
And how well it carries on you. All sorts of things.
The fit in hand. I cannot tell you. I have I have drooled over guns online. Like, I mean, read all the spec sheets and like, this is it, the newest, latest, and greatest. It's gonna be the gun that I have to have. And then I get my hands on one and I'm so disappointed. It's just not what I had dreamed it would be. I mean, it's a great gun, but it would be a great gun for somebody else, not for me. So getting your hands on one, actually being able to test one would be rule number one. I mean, get your hands on the product that you're looking for, be able to see how it fits and finishes. And if there's a place that has a range that'll let you test fire it, bingo!
There you go.
You want to do that. You definitely want to do that. Once you are thoroughly pleased with everything in your hand that you've got here that you've been looking for, you really do need to make sure that you test it, because when it's not doing anything, unloaded, empty in your hand at a gun counter, that's one thing. But to be able to fire it and see how it feels when there's actual recoil involved, that is another thing entirely.
Story.
Yes.
I'm glad you said that, because there's been a lot of guns that I bought. And I love it. I take it home. I'm messing with it, and I go out and shoot it. I don't like it anymore. Yeah. Well, Maggie, gosh, thank you so much for your wisdom and insight. We always appreciate you.
You're so welcome.
And we thank you for being able to talk this through. So,
heck yeah! Thanks for swinging by,
absolutely.
and to all you fellas out there buying firearms for your ladies, we'll see your girls in the store.
Yes. Let them pick it out. Let them pick it out.
Yes, please.
Amen to that.
So, thanks
right, well,
everybody.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.